The Champions League, the competition that will bring the biggest clubs in Europe together for a couple of months during their regular seasons to battle out to see who could be the biggest club in Europe. While some say it's owned by a club like Real Madrid, could it be won by one of the smaller clubs this year? Welcome to the Robbie Basel Show Champions League Predictions 2023. I am your host, Robbie Basel, and like I said in previous episodes, I was supposed to have a guest with me for this. Well, unfortunately, Dylan and I's schedule just couldn't work out, and he will hopefully come up with me for predictions for the Champions League knockouts or something later on. You saw him in the prediction video for the Premier League. You guys seem to like him a lot, so he will be back eventually. I will try my best. But what I'm going to be doing in this video for you guys today is go group by group. Actually, no, before I go into that, let me explain to you how the Champions League works. The Champions League is very similar in ways to the World Cup. You have 8 groups of 4 teams. Though the top 2 in each group advance out of the group stage into the Champions League knockouts. You play 6 matches across 6 different match days, which are going to be games during the week on Tuesdays and Wednesdays for the Champions League. And if you finish in 3rd in your group, you go down to the Europa League round of 32. If you finish in last, you just play out your regular league for the rest of the year. It's kind of that simple. This competition has been prone for upsets and disappointments across the board. Last year, perfect example of that. But I'm not here to talk to you about last year's Champions League. I'm here to talk to you about the last year of the current format of this form of the Champions League, because next year they're going to like a league format, which makes no sense. But listen, they did what they did, and I'm just here for you guys to tell you what to watch out for. And I'm predicting my version of the Champions League group stage for 2023. So I might at the end with like my worst prediction, like do a commentary on them. I'm not decided. I haven't decided on that yet, but comment down below if you want to see that. But without further ado, let's dive right into this. So Group A is Bayern Munich out of Germany, Manchester United out of England, Galatasaray out of Turkey, and Copenhagen, which I believe is out of Denmark. Now, what I'm going to be doing is go through a lot of these matches and predict you what's going on. So Group A, which actually starts the day of this recording on Wednesday, because I'm recording this on Wednesday, Galatasaray opens with Copenhagen, and Bayern opens up with Manchester United. Now, Copenhagen and Galatasaray, this feels like a draw, though I think Galatasaray should win, but I listed it as 1-1 draw. And I had Bayern beating United only 3-0, but United's in shambles. More on them later. Other crucial results: United draw. I predicted to draw to Galatasaray match day 2. Galatasaray is a team that will not mess around, especially on the road, especially at home. I mean, United went out and lost to Brighton. They've lost to multiple bad teams. They've gotten away with that win with Wolves. And listen, they have not looked that spectacular. The biggest result, though, is match day 5, where I predict Galatasaray at home to beat Manchester United in Turkey. Now, those Turkish environments, if you've never seen it before, are some of the most coolest environments in the world. Now, some of the most hostile environments, you could argue France. You can argue Serbia with Red Star Belgrade. More on Red Star later, because I get to talk about their environment in Serbia. You can go with Turkey. You can go with the Netherlands in terms of, like, you know, the flares, the tifos, all that fun stuff. Those countries, I think, some of them do it the best. Galatasaray is one of those clubs that I think do it well. And playing on the road at Galatasaray will be a problem for everyone not named Bayern. I do predict Copenhagen to get a draw out of them, though, because they will find a way. That's like those match day 1 scares. But my group, I'm going to tell you the points, and you will see all of the points, because once again, I don't have any way to edit this video. So you will see all of the group stage, like points and everything, in the Instagram post that will come up right after this video is posted, I believe, or it might come out before the video is posted. I don't know. But my prediction is Bayern to finish. They're going to win all 6 games with a plus 13 goal difference. Next, Galatasaray finishing in 2nd over Manchester United. Man United and Galatasaray each have 1 win, but The controversial draw with Copenhagen will get Galatasaray through. I predict them to draw Copenhagen twice, and that will get them through. Galatasaray on 6 points, and because no one wants to win a game in this group, United will finish on 5 and go to the Europa League, and Copenhagen, because of 3 draws, will just be done with Europe for this season. Disappointing, though, from United because, I mean, listen, they're a mess, and all the injuries they have, lack of depth, I think will really hurt them in this year's Champions League. Though they could turn into this year's version of Chelsea, big club, bad season in the league, but they could really perform in the Champions League. That's possible. I don't see that happening. Group B, Arsenal, PSV, Sevilla, and Lens. Listen, I'm high on Arsenal, not high enough in Europe for them. Because I predict this group, opening match day, Arsenal, PSV, this is an automatic draw, a statement for Arsenal's first Champions League in a decent amount of time now, I believe over half a decade. So Arsenal, I predict a draw to PSV, and the Europa League merchants, Sevilla beat Lens 2-0. Then Arsenal beat Lens, PSV beats Sevilla. I like that matchup for PSV. It's in the Netherlands. I think they're always good at home. So those Dutch teams at home, it's really a true home field advantage. The Lens away for Arsenal could be a trap game. But I do have Arsenal winning 1-0. Then Arsenal beat Sevilla because why not? And then Lens just draw PSV. Why not? Arsenal then draws Sevilla in the next match day. PSV then beats Lens at home in the return leg. Sevilla then draws PSV. Arsenal win again. And then Arsenal just choke the group away and lose to PSV while Lens ruins Sevilla's chances and beats them 3-1. Lens wins one match. It's the last day because they're here to spoil the party. And despite them having a -5 goal difference, they almost make the Europa League. By the way, United's goal difference is the worst for a team that makes the Europa League. And one of the worst ever. It's -6. But this one was almost as bad because Lens was 1 point away and had -5. PSV wins the group on 12 points, followed by Arsenal with 11 because they choke it. It's Arsenal, and they lose to PSV. Sevilla, despite only having 1 win, advanced to the Europa League because they're the Europa League merchants. It makes sense for them, honestly. Group C, Real Madrid, Napoli, Union Berlin, and Braga. This group can go a lot of different ways. Though I don't want anyone to sleep on Union Berlin. I mean, granted, they're a German club. They're not off to the greatest start ever to a Bundesliga season. They are in the top half of the table. But the Bundesliga it's Bayern and then everyone else. And everyone else, still a very talented next 6-7 teams. And Union Berlin is part of that, making their Champions League debut. But I do have Braga and Napoli in Portugal being a draw, and Real Madrid beating Union Berlin only 1-0 though, because Union Berlin's going to make a statement, and that's going to be the only match that Real Madrid drop points in. Union Berlin then draw Braga because Braga is actually competent on the road, and then Napoli. Oh wait, no, I made a mistake. Real Madrid's only drop points was this match, as Napoli draw Real Madrid. My mistake. And then Union Berlin just beat Napoli the next day. Braga then lose to Real Madrid, and then Napoli draw Union Berlin again. Actually, no, Napoli then draw Union Berlin. I'm really getting my matchups confused because they're like all right next to each other on this screen. Real Madrid then beat Braga, and then Braga at home beat Union Berlin to cause absolute chaos. Real Madrid then beat Napoli again, and then Real Madrid beat Union Berlin, and Napoli with a clutch win at the end of the group stage gets them out of the dead and gets them into the second round. Union Berlin finishes on third on goal difference by 1 goal, according to my predictions, ahead of Braga. Union Berlin's going to be worried on the defensive end. I think Braga is going to be okay, but that clutch win with Union Berlin on match day 5 will cause a lot of chaos in my prediction. So it's Real Madrid on 16 points, Napoli on 6, because, listen, going on the road to any of these teams is going to be a challenge. And it's like that in most Champions League groups. But this group, it's going to be completely different, especially with Union Berlin. Union Berlin then on 5 and Braga also on 5. But like I said, Union Berlin through to the Europa League on goal difference. Group D, Inter, Benfica, Salzburg, Sociedad. I'll tell you right now, I have Sociedad last. More on them in a second. Opening match day, we'll go game by game again. Inter over Sociedad 1-0. Benfica and Salzburg just feels like a trap game for Benfica. I have that match ending in a draw. Then Salzburg beats Sociedad in Salzburg 3-0. And then Inter just come out of the dead and then again and beat Benfica, then beat Salzburg, and then Benfica and Sociedad draw. Sociedad then falls to Benfica, and then Salzburg shocks everyone and beats Inter. Benfica then beats Inter on the next match day. Sociedad gets their first win of the group and their only win of the group against Salzburg, and then Inter draw, and then Benfica beats Salzburg away. So my group predictions, it's Benfica on 11 points over Inter Milan, who finish on 10. Salzburg with a very respectable 7 points, and Sociedad, one of the most disappointing teams in the tournament for me, finished only on 5. Inter probably going to be kicking themselves in the foot based on my prediction, but listen, some of those games at the end, how many times they're on the road, I think will be a problem. The San Siro will be rocking, though, for those home matches. I'll tell you that much. One of the groups that actually started yesterday, and you're going to love these predictions because I will tell you right now, these predictions were made on Monday. I got 7 out of the 8 games predicted correctly, and the only wrong prediction, win, draw, or loss, was literally the first match I'm about to talk about. Lazio Atletico Madrid. We saw one of the coolest goals. The best way to start your Champions League is by getting a point. How about getting a point with your goalkeeper scoring the only goal for your team? You're just built different. Lazio, I predicted to beat Atletico Madrid. That didn't happen. But Feyenoord, and the nice win over Celtic, that did happen. Score, not correct, but we'll take it. And then I had Atletico Madrid beating Feyenoord in Madrid. Then I have Celtic just drawing Lazio. Feyenoord then beat Lazio, Celtic, and Atletico Madrid. I have a draw for Celtic. Listen, playing away to those Scottish clubs is going to be a problem. It will be a problem, I think, for Atletico Madrid. I think Atletico Madrid is one of those overrated teams in this tournament this year. How highly some people think this team can be, I'm not buying it. I'm also not buying Lazio, as they're going to lose. Celtic draw Atletico Madrid again, then Feyenoord beat Lazio, then Lazio draw to Celtic. Feyenoord beats Atletico Madrid, and then Atletico Madrid comes out of the dead and beats Lazio. Celtic beat Feyenoord to steal third. Lazio, I have finishing bottom of this group. Feyenoord on top with 12 points. I think they're going to be resting players because of their league as well. So I think they're going to finish on top. The Atletico Madrid second, Celtic very unlucky not to go through. They're on 7 points. And then Lazio in last with 5. Another group. Welcome to the group of death. A group where anything is humanly possible. AC Milan, Dortmund, PSG, Newcastle. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Some of these teams do worry me due to lack of depth, and some of these are just going to be picks based on not who I like, but who I just feel like would win the match. That's all I'm saying. The first match, what's funny is that I have the team that won the group win less games than the team that finished in second. But the team that finished in second actually lost multiple matches, and the team that's in first didn't not lose a game. They drew 4 matches. And that team I have at first is AC Milan. They're going to draw I have them drawing Newcastle, then drawing Dortmund, then drawing PSG, because this group I think is going to be way more underperforming than I thought it would be. AC Milan did actually open with a draw with Newcastle yesterday, so by the time of this recording, they drew 0-0. PSG actually did beat Borussia Dortmund, so I'm already off to a hot start in this group. But then AC Milan are going to beat PSG at home, then beat Dortmund, and then draw Newcastle again. So AC Milan I have on top with 10 points. Also on 10 points, but behind on goal difference, is PSG. I have them beating Dortmund, then losing to Newcastle. Yes, Newcastle will be, I have beating PSG, then PSG draw AC Milan, then lose to AC Milan, then beat Newcastle, then beat Borussia Dortmund away on the last day to finish on 10 points. And third for me is Dortmund. They're going to lose to PSG, then draw AC Milan, then beat Newcastle, then beat Newcastle again, and then just go out and lose to AC Milan, and then lose to PSG, causing a ton of scares. I had them on 7 points, and they're going to go to the Europa League. And last, I have Newcastle. I don't trust their depth at all. They're a very solid team, though. They're a very top-heavy squad. I love Alexander Isak, Sandro Tonali. I talked about them a lot in my Premier League prediction video, but I have them drawing AC Milan. And I have them beating PSG, which is a phenomenal result. That's going to put everyone over their heads. Unfortunately for them, they're going to get 1 point in their last 4 matches, which is a nice, cool draw to AC Milan. Again, this group can be really flipped around multiple ways, but the way I see it, it's going to finish like this. So once again, AC Milan tie with PSG, but AC Milan winning the group on goal difference. Actually, no, they're going to win on not on a head-to-head correction because they have this. I actually project them to have the same goal difference. I didn't realize this. Same goals for, same goal difference, but AC Milan, I believe I have them winning one of the matches. I do have AC Milan winning the home leg at the San Siro. So AC Milan win the group on head-to-head. PSG second, tied with 10 points, then Dortmund, then Newcastle. 2 groups left to discuss, I believe. Yes, it is. And this group we have City, Leipzig, Red Star, and Young Boys. I hyped up Red Star's atmosphere. Go look at videos. Thogden, I think, has a good video from when he went to Belgrade to watch Red Star. They're listed here as Crvena Zvezda. I probably said that totally wrong. I don't know Serbian. So they're going to be in a group. They're going to have a tough time, but not as tough of a time as people think it will be. Predictions, I had Leipzig beating Young Boys. They did beat Young Boys, just my score was wrong. Then my only predicted win with the correct score, I did have City winning 3-1 over Red Star, which was actually correct. And I went nuts after that happened because that's really never happened before. Then I have Red Star just beating Young Boys because the Swiss club in the mud already. And then Leipzig are going to be the only team that gets a points taken away from City. I have them drawing at home to City. Then I have City beating Young Boys, Leipzig beating Red Star, City beat Young Boys again, Red Star beat Leipzig. So a little bit of a flip of the script there. Then I have Young Boys beating Red Star, City beat Leipzig, Leipzig beat Young Boys, and then City beat Red Star again. So my group is City on 16 points. Then we have Leipzig on 10. And then Red Star just going through on 6 points. And then Young Boys finishing on 3. Very disappointing, though, from the Swiss club. They're a solid team. The Swiss league, I think, is pretty mid. Well, listen, Young Boys are a competent team. Red Star, it's going to be a battle of those two for third. I cannot wait to see those battles. I know this video is going quick. It's different when you're by yourself, but one group to go for this prediction. I know this video is short, but like I said, it sucks that Dylan's not here because he would be having a field day going after me with these predictions. I will tell you that much. But quick, before we go into the last group, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Next video will be, of course, on Monday. Will probably be a Premier League prediction, Premier League recap from the weekend. We have NFL, all that stuff, and make sure to check out Into the Stands every day on Thursday. I'm not forgetting that. Link to the last episode, to the most recent episode, which is actually the day tomorrow because I'm recording this on Wednesday. Since Friday, I'm going home from college. So the latest episode would be posted in the description. Make sure to check it out every Thursday, 5 p.m. Final group, Barcelona, Shakhtar, Porto, and Antwerp. Antwerp is one of those teams you just don't like because they really messed up. Antwerp, I believe, is the club that forgot to register one of their best players, and now he's really pissed off. And fair play to him because I have Antwerp finishing last in correspondence with this because the team chemistry, I think, is going to be in absolute mud, and they don't win a match. I have Barcelona beating Antwerp. That did happen. I have Porto beating Shakhtar. Also happened. Then I have Antwerp just drawing Shakhtar. Shakhtar, listen, I love Shakhtar. They're really trying to make a statement, represent the people of Ukraine. I really wanted them to get drawn into the group with Man City because I think they would be better than Leipzig. Low-key better than possibly better than Leipzig. Controversial, though. And unfortunately, they got Barcelona. So, they're going to do the typical lose to Barcelona. And then they're just going to beat Barcelona. because it's Ukraine. The atmosphere also really crazy. Barcelona is going to lose their only match of the group to freaking Shakhtar, and then they're just going to draw. They're just going to beat Porto, and then I think I have them beating Porto twice, and it's out of nowhere Barcelona just draw Antwerp for no reason. Antwerp finish in 4th with Shakhtar in 3rd on 6 points. Porto have finished in 2nd. The Portuguese side will go through, though I think they're going to have a very iffy performance in the Champions League this year. And then, of course, we have Barcelona, who will be winning the group. So we're just going to go over every group once again, just so you guys, in case you guys missed anything. So we have Group A. I have Bayern, then Galatasaray, then Manchester United, and then Copenhagen. Group B, I have PSV, then Arsenal, then Sevilla, then Lens. Group C, I have Madrid, Napoli, Union Berlin, and Braga. Group D, I have Benfica, Inter, Salzburg, Sociedad. Next group, I have Feyenoord, Atletico Madrid, Celtic, Lazio. Next group, I have AC Milan, PSG, Dortmund, Newcastle. Next group, I have City, Leipzig, Red Star, Young Boys. And then finally, I have Barcelona, Porto, Shakhtar, and then Royal Antwerp. So really quick, I'm going to tell you some teams that I have previously mentioned, but may go more in depth on who will be my surprise team in the Champions League this year in the group stage, and who will be my most disappointing team. Disappointments, you can argue for a lot of teams, but with the hype around teams like Sevilla and Manchester United, they're going to be my most disappointments. They're going to be Sevilla and United. You know, United, I mean, you can call them disappointments. With how many injuries they have, this could maybe you can maybe argue this is an excuse for United to be mid in the Champions League this year. But listen, I'm not buying that. United are a decent team. They ran poor. I think Ten Hag's not the greatest manager ever, but listen, it's a Champions League with a lot of things that could possibly happen. I do think United and Sevilla are going to be my most disappointing teams. Surprises, you can't go with this without mentioning. Listen, some people have Milan finishing 3rd. Some people have Newcastle. Listen, I'm not going to call Newcastle a disappointment because they're still going to be hopefully in the run for a Champions League spot next year. Their first time here in over 30 years. So I think this will be a statement to say Newcastle's back on the map, somewhat. But I'm just not buying the hype around Newcastle due to I don't think they have the defending to really get them over the top. Dortmund I have over them because they have actually Champions League experience. And then, of course, PSG and AC Milan. I think AC Milan are going to be a sleeper in this, despite them losing the Milan derby 5-1. Other sleepers, I mean, you can argue Feyenoord can be a sleeper in this tournament overall. I think any of those Dutch clubs, I mean, I wish Ajax was here because Ajax, I think, has the best atmosphere out of the Dutch clubs. But I think Ajax can be a surprise. And one other surprise that I think can make a big move, I just got to find them on my list. Did I mention them already? Might have mentioned them already. Is PSV. There they are. PSV Eindhoven. Like I said, the Dutch clubs are going to have a field day here. And PSV is one of them. Because, listen, I have them getting some clutch results. But with the way Arsenal can play, the way Sevilla can play, even Lens as well, they're going to be not a pushover. Some say this group can be like a Europa League group. I disagree with that. Because one, PSV or Sevilla would not be a pot 3 team in the freaking Euro competition if this was the Europa League. These are all pot 1 Europa League clubs. If they were even in the Europa League, they're not. Sevilla won the last Europa League. PSV, they're not going to be here to mess around. They're both going to have field days. Listen, I think there will be a decent amount of goals scored, but Sevilla are just going to disappoint and finish in 3rd. So I know this episode is a little bit shorter. I know this episode may not have as much analysis as you guys would like. But each week on Monday, I will try to mention some of the bigger Champions League matches for the week. And I might be able to recap them for you guys on Friday in the future. So next Monday, hopefully I go over some of the Champions League matches. I mentioned some of them to watch out for on the previous episode of this show. Make sure to go check out that episode. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Like I said, sorry for the shorter episode, but with a big prediction like this, I feel like, and since I'm by myself, I think this type of episode was needed. I know this is late, but once again, this is the Robbie Basel Show Champions League predictions. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and check out the latest video in the description and follow myself and Into the Stands and, of course, this show, the Robbie Basel Show, on Instagram. Signing off for now, I'm Robbie Basel saying so long. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you guys Monday. Goodbye, guys.